know when influencers are like, I have to go run errands today, and the errands are literally getting coffee, going to the bookstore and reading? Well guys, today we're running errands.
I've always wanted to use that spell.
And by errands, of course, I mean we have a very fun day planned ahead of us. You read the title, you clicked on the video, you know very well we are of course hitting the bookstore today. I don't think I've bought a book in about 2 weeks, which is excellent for me, but there are a few on my list, especially a couple of recent reads that I do want to go to the store and pick up. Obviously there's Fearless by Lauren Roberts, which I want to pick up. It's the final book in the Powerless trilogy. And then I read Summer in the City by Alex Astor at the beginning of April, and I had so much fun. It was just a fun New York summer romance, but I don't own the book just yet, so I do want to pick that one up as well. And then I was thinking, perhaps I should pick up Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. That one is a maybe. I might not do that. But nonetheless, there is a bookstore trip we're going to be making in about an hour or so. And I'm also going to start reading Fearless today. I'm so excited. I did not want to start this one on my Kindle because I want to experience That sounds really stupid. By the time you guys watch this video, I'll actually be home, but it is currently the 9th of April and I'm about to get on a flight in a couple of days, so I definitely need some reading material for the plane. That is why we're hitting the bookstore today. This is also so incredibly random, but there's a cafe near me that does blueberry lattes, and there's this one girl that I follow on TikTok. She's always making these blueberry lattes. Sounds horrific. Like, why would you put fruit into your coffee? I don't really know, but I really badly want to try that. So I think pit stop at the cafe. We can start reading Fearless at the cafe as well. So yeah, books, coffee, and that is my holiday prep. I love days like this. I also keep forgetting to mention this, but I restarted my bookstagram, which is something I wanted to do for the longest time. I was a bookstagrammer back in 2017 and I quit it because I was in high school at that time and it was just too much. But I started it back up a few weeks ago. It's called Sreya's Shelf and it should be linked down below, but guys, look how much fun it is. Anyway, if you're on Bookstagram, please go check that out. I really didn't realize how much I missed it until I re-downloaded it and I was like, oh, why did I ever let this community go? But let's go to the bookstore. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time. I'm gonna read one of my most anticipated releases and pick up a couple of amazing books as well. I'm on my way. I've decided maybe I won't buy Conditions of Will just because I know I don't really love the Magnolia Parks book, so maybe I'll read that one on my Kindle, but I will be getting the other two. I'm back from the bookstore. You already saw what I got. Summer in the City by Alex Astor, which I've already read, and then Fearless, which I'm so excited. I'm 3 chapters in actually. Also, the blueberry latte was not bad. It was quite interesting actually. I'll talk about this book a little more in my wrap up, but it's a really nice New York City summertime romance. Fake dating, it's so cute. I really did like this, so I just had to get a physical copy, though I did read it on my Kindle. And Fearless, where do I start? This series definitely does have its flaws, but at the end of the day, it's just such a fun YA romantasy, and every single book before it just ends on a cliffhanger, so I needed to get my hands on this immediately. I walked in as soon as Dimmicks opened and picked this up. This is pure romantasy, as in the romance is the main thing driving the plot forward. It's not really political tensions or fantasy world building. It is pure romantasy and I love it. Today is Wednesday. My flight is Friday in the morning, so I'm actually going to try and get this book finished by the time I get on that plane because I don't want to lug a physical book across continents. But nonetheless, I did spend this morning downloading a bunch of different fanfics and books to my Kindle because I will be taking this with me. This goes everywhere I go. So let's get straight into reading Fearless. Fair warning, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't read Fearless or the Powerless series, proceed at your own risk. No, you're in my vlog! I'm 10% of the way in, so let me tell you what is happening. At the end of Reckless, Kit proposed to Peyton. At the beginning of this book, she accepts that marriage proposal and Kit announces that Ilya will stop banishing ordinaries and welcome ordinaries back into their society. So not a lot has happened just yet. Peyton is inside the castle. She has agreed to be with Kit. We're mainly just setting up the story right now. If you follow me on Goodreads, you'll know that I've always complained about whoever is editing the Powerless series because there are so many mistakes. This is no exception. Like I said, 10% in and there are already spelling mistakes, and it does really annoy me when it's a traditionally published book and I do see a lot of those mistakes. Obviously, I'm willing to overlook things like this in indie published books because they don't actually have the backing of a traditional publishing house to go through and edit everything, but there should be no excuse in a Simon & Schuster book. Like, of course, people make mistakes, but I think editors, like, that is quite literally your job. Anyway, I'm here for the story, not necessarily the spelling. I am now officially a third of the way into this book. Can I be honest? There's not a lot happening. In order to make the elites of Ilya accept Peyton as their new queen, Kit has declared that Peyton has to go through purging trials once again. She has just completed the first trial. I assume there's going to be more trials, otherwise what else are we doing for the rest of the 2/3 of the book? So yeah, the only real thing that has happened is she's done a trial. That's all in terms of plot that's occurred, but I still don't get how that is going to convince the elites to accept Peyton and how that's gonna unify the elites and the ordinaries. It just doesn't make sense to me. In terms of the romance, obviously I, like every other person with a sane mind, is gunning for Kai and Peyton. There's just a lot of pining because she's still engaged to Kit. Obviously Peyton and Kai like each other and love each other, but it's just a lot of back and forth because she is still engaged to Kit. So the romance is stagnant, the plot is pretty stagnant. I don't know. However, I still have an hour left before I have to go to the gym tonight, so I'm gonna try get through as much as possible. I need things to start happening immediately. Right now I think it's sitting at about 3 stars and I really thought it would be 5 stars from the get-go, but we will see. We will see. I'm at the gym. My least favorite place to be when I have a book to read, but I am halfway through and I will be leaving the gym at around 7 p.m. So we still have a decent chunk of time tonight. I was seriously considering just skipping the gym today, but Kai and Peyton wouldn't be proud of me if I skipped the gym today, so that's what we're doing. Let's go home and read. If you ever need workout motivation, just become a fantasy reader. It's 9 p.m. right now and I'm on page 265. Peyton is on her second trial and she has gone with Kai because this trial involves going to another country and crossing a treacherous ocean to get there to make peace with their ruler. So this gives Kai and Peyton an excuse to be alone because he has gone with her. Kit is way back in Ilya. Once again, not too much has happened. I will also say that these trials seem quite easy. I might be eating my words in a few pages, but so far, both the first trial and this one, shouldn't it be harder? Because how are all the elites going to respect an ordinary if the challenge isn't basically insurmountable? Anyway, those are just my thoughts right now. I'm probably going to read for 1 more hour before I go to bed. Good morning. As of last night, I ended up on page 400 of 522, so I think I'm going to finish the book in the next hour or so. You know when I said I wanted things to start happening? They were happening. After the 65% mark onwards, it has been good. And I'm talking like 4-star level of good. So a couple more surprises like that and it will end up being a 4-star read. Spoilers, big recap. Peyton killed Blair, but the way that it happened was a fire randomly erupted and she shoved Blair into it. Where did that fire come from? Does Peyton actually have some sort of power? The next thing that happened, her third trial, and this was a good trial. This was what I was waiting for. Something that felt like this. She was facing Kai, it was battle to the death. Kai dies, but in my heart, I knew he wasn't actually gonna die. This is not my first rodeo. I've been through this before. I know that the main character rarely dies before being resurrected back the next page, but nonetheless, I was sobbing. Even though I knew it wasn't him, just like the way it was written, the emotions, oh, I felt everything. I wasn't shocked when it was revealed that Kai was in fact alive. That was a complete illusion. But then they revealed that the man that Peyton was actually fighting was Mac. And Mac deliberately sacrificed himself to save Peyton's life and be with Adina. That really sent me into a fresh wave of agony. Page 400, it is actually the day of Peyton's wedding. She has just said, I do. And there's only that much left. I don't know how we're gonna wrap this whole thing up satisfactorily because we still need to unite Ilya, unite the elites and the ordinaries. That hasn't been completed yet. And we have to get Kai and Peyton together. Duh. Peyton's mother is the first queen, Edric's first wife. That is Peyton's mum. She had an affair with Callum, and Peyton is Callum and Iris's daughter. Okay, but this is kind of excellent news because that means Peyton and Kit are half siblings, so they can't be married. Page 464, Kit has just revealed that the entire plague was man-made by another Azza king and it was spread throughout the kingdom to give elites power. But now the amount of the plague in every elite's blood is kind of dwindling, and so Kit plans to unleash the plague again. So Kit is going evil. What is going on? I feel like that was a random 180 because he hasn't been evil for most of this book, but now he's like a crazed fanatic. I don't know what's happening and why he's like being like this. I finished, so let's talk about Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Like I said in this vlog, the first 65% or so, I felt like the plot was pretty stagnant. It wasn't really going anywhere. The romance between Kai and Peyton too, very much the same. Nothing was really happening, and even though Lauren Roberts' writing is enjoyable, quick and easy to read, I need something to start happening. The first two trials also felt so easy, but then we hit the 65% mark and things started happening. The third trial, when I saw Kai in that arena, I knew firstly that he would die, but that the death would be fake. I went to the Sarah J. Maas School of Fantasy. I know that there's no way Kai was gonna die. Even though I knew it was not gonna actually happen, the way it was written was just so, Oh, I was sobbing. You saw the video. And then when it was revealed it was Mac in the arena, oh my god. Powerful actually did make me cry. Mac and Adina's story. And the fact that Mac dies in this one to see Adina again and sacrifices his life for Peyton. Oh, that hurt my heart. It hurt so badly. And then we get the revelation about Peyton's parents being Callum and Iris, and Callum orchestrating this massive downfall of the ordinaries. And then Kit's death. Oh, Kit dying was not surprising to me. The one thing though, the villain arc was so weird. It just seemed so inconsistent with his character beforehand. Yeah, I was a bit confused about that. I think it could have been done differently. I understand he's just a victim of his father's manipulation, sure, but surely there was a better way to do this. Like, I didn't like how suddenly he went from being a kind, scholarly guy to just evil. No. And then Kai and Peyton marry and have kids. Oh, look, I absolutely loved it. I did. And I think the first part, like I said, was 3 stars, but then that ending 40% or so was 5 stars for me. So I'm gonna meet in the middle and say that this is a 4-star book. Look how nice. Oh my god. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending another week with me. I know this was a bit later to do a Fearless vlog given that it came out in the beginning of the month, but like I said, pre-filmed because I am going away. I'll be back by now and I'll see you for next week's vlog. I can't tell you what we're doing, but I'm so excited. Something big's happening and I could not be more excited. Anyway, I'll see you next week.